report issued last night. Also, just wanted to take the time to extend our condolences from all of us here at KUAM to the family and friends of the former Vice Mayor of Tamuning, Kenneth Santos. We got the news yesterday that he had passed away in 2020. He decided not to seek re-election for the position because of health reasons. And according to the release from the Mayor's Council of Guam, he had actually moved to the state of Colorado with his wife, Judy, to seek medical attention. And so we just heard that yesterday again that he had passed away. Angel Sablon, who's the executive director of the Mayor's Council of Guam, of course, he extended his sincere condolences, saying that it was our fervent wish and hope that he would return one day triumphant in overcoming his medical condition. Again, he passed away yesterday, and of course, the governor and lieutenant governor also issued their condolences. But we're going to head into the Zoom room. We're going to check in with Senator James Moylan. Good morning, Senator.
Great, Jason. Good morning.
Good morning, Senator. Also a resident of the Tamuning, Tumon, Harmon area, and also a public servant, Senator Moylan. Good morning to you. Did you know the late former Vice Mayor Senator very well?
Not very well, but I did get the opportunity to meet him. Of course, that's always unfortunate when we have one of our leaders pass away. It was nice, at least he was able to serve our island, and especially my community too. There's those mayors and vice mayors, each one in their villages, they do a lot, and they had to answer to the people right away. Yeah. at least for our senators, we answer the people when during a public hearing or during session and making some measures. But I bet you their phones at the mayor's office are just continuously just ringing off the hook, and everybody needs everything now, which is okay, and that's what we're supposed to do. So, right. My condolences to the vice mayor, his family, especially, and thank goodness that we had the opportunity. He had the opportunity to serve the people of Guam.
Exactly, like they said, public service is not a job, it's not a career, it's a calling.
Right. Really interesting, right? Right. Sometimes I wonder, it's like, man, my parents put me to school, and here I am. I hope they're proud of me. I'm not too sure. Or they'll just say, you could have did a lot of other things. But interesting life that we have. So I'm so happy also to serve.
Interesting choice of words, I would say, on your point, Senator, for pride and everything. With your concept, the election bill, we know you worked really hard in this, and putting forth and really trying to sell this idea of streamlining, making more efficient the Guam election process and everything like that. The fact that it's been vetoed, so is it okay? Back to the drawing board, and let's try and repitch this thing. Let's try and maybe shape it up differently or is it I serve at the will of the people? We'll move on to something else. Where do you stand with that?
No, we haven't given up. We're not going to attempt to veto on this. We're going to reintroduce another comprehensive package. Gotcha. One of the proposals did pass, but the one that didn't. The governor had a good veto message on it. It was, things change when you get on session floor with bills. Yeah. Amendments were made and things were added to the bill. But when you add other offices, bipartisan and so forth, or nonpartisan as well, to that, if you don't change you just can't change that one part of the law. You also have to adjust other parts of the law. So in the governor's veto message, it's true. We could have, maybe it was done in haste during session floor trying to improve the bill, but it was overlooked, and therefore the veto came. All these changes that we do for the Guam Election Commission come from the Guam Election Commission. Right. These folks are the professionals that have been there for longer than I've been senator. It's just my job to listen and try with my team to put it into black and white and make that measure proposed to come to session floor, and which we did. So we're going to reintroduce other things, another comprehensive package that we think we can move forward. It's basically a learning lesson, and this way, if when things try to get adjusted on session floor again with different amendments, at least with this experience, I can explain to my colleagues, if you do this, you need to do this and this and this. For now, let's just pass what this measure is talking about only, and then we can look at those other things.
Mm-hmm. May I ask, Senator, I know Sabrina's got some questions for you, but I just wanted to know, for people that will never sit in the seat that you are now sitting in, right? As a policymaker, When legislation that you've crafted with your staff, and like you said, very effectively, this was put forth by the GEC, and you've collaborated on that. You've tried to pitch it to your colleagues and everything like that, and for whatever reason, partisan politics, what have you, and everything, it gets vetoed by, in some form or fashion, and everything. How does that feel? For people that will never do the work that you did. I mean, because obviously you believe in this concept with all your heart and everything like that, and not just this, but other pieces of legislation. When things get shot down, how does that make you feel as someone who crafts this kind of thing, and how do you bounce back and then either reintroduce it or start something else?
Sure. Yeah. There's no tear, Jason. So it's all right, man. My heart's still there, man. So no worries. But sure, it's disappointing in a bit because of the effort placed into that, and in this case, it regarded the Guam Election Commission, and I don't want to disappoint them too because they put a lot of effort into this as well. They're what I've learned from Maria Pangilinan and their board, their commission there and their staff. They got the patience, they're very patient people. And when they come before us, the senators, right, and when we have a committee as a whole, or when we're in public hearing, how they present their needs, right, or how they present what is best for the election commission, for the people of Guam to make things better is really professional, and they don't necessarily try to pull left or right. And the director there, Maria Pangilinan, it's like, she should be a senator. She should be a governor too. How she answers.
I can see that. I can honestly see that.
Yes. So it's just a learning lesson. I had to get over some setbacks, and I think in the future, we can do. My office or I can do things sharper, but just never, a slight setback, but not a punch in the gut and get out and quit. Not at all. Not at all. But who is it? Who's the best home run hitter? How many? Who's that? Is it Babe Ruth? Is he still number one?
That's a perfect analogy, Senator, because Babe Ruth, for a very long time in the history of baseball, was the all-time leader in home runs. He also was the all-time leader in strikeouts.
There you go, right? Because he came up to bat. He came up to bat so many times. Nobody, eventually it's like, I don't know how many times I struck out. It almost sounds like in the 35th Guam legislature when I tried to make amendments to the bill or the budget bill, or I tried to make legislation proposed. I couldn't even get it heard on the floor. So, but then the 36th Guam legislature, we're able to do, I think we really advanced by getting laws passed, bills introduced and laws actually passed that I think were significant, that was worth the time of the legislature and worth the time of the people, making a big difference in some good laws that we passed. And so we'll continue to do that.
Very well.
Are you still aiming at getting this bill or bills introduced by the end of this week to kind of rectify and address some of the issues that were contained in the veto? The measure is being drafted. I see. So the introduction date, that's something we have to, before we introduce it, we work it through with Guam Election Commission to ensure that it meets with the board's approval. They are pretty good when they re-look at our proposals, the measures, to ensure legally for them it is the right thing to do. It's going to be introduced. But the time frame, we also have to work with the Election Commission because when they meet, it's only once a month. Yeah. So. And they're meeting today, actually, right?
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah, they're scheduled to meet today, Thursday.
Yeah, and as we come closer to election, their time will be even less for us. So we want to make sure we get that done for that period. And then from there, it goes into being assigned to a committee. And then you work with that committee chair to get a public hearing date. Then from there, you work with the committee to get it out of committee, and eventually on core calendar if it's on all the measures are into the legislature website so people can review. Then you get it onto session floor. So it's really interesting how long it takes for something to get through.
So just for clarification, right? Bill 174 was signed. We've got Bill 173 that's going to be reworked. But this particular bill, it only pertains to, primary elections, right? And how if you got 15 senatorial candidates, let's say running on the Democrat side and 15 on the Republican side, there's no need to have a primary election, or if it's an uncontested race, right? Is that kind of...
Right. So it's financially, it saves the election commission from doing these a primary election where there's just not enough people on either side to call for a primary election. So why do that? Yeah. I did hear some objections. Listening to programs and people talk about where they feel there is a need for the primary elections, but that comes down to in the vote on session floor. I feel that there's just, it's not necessary. It's better we don't have, and you can focus on moving, the candidate can focus on moving up to the next level in the general election. It's so, to even want to run as a candidate, that's one part. And then what do you have to do next? You have to raise money. And I always thought, well, why do I have to raise more money than what I'm getting paid to do at this job? So why overexpend when it's not going to pay back? But the reason is advertising. It's advertising your product, which is yourself, and what your platform is, and how do you get that word out? That's through media, and you have to pay for that media, printed, radio, TV, as well. It's all costly per seconds.
I know many people, Senator, have told me over the years that when they have run, they've tried to, they've budgeted in their campaign and everything, and they've actually run over budget, or they've operated in the red, as we say, and they're like, hey, I got elected, but we actually took a loss financially. So it's interesting, sticky wicket there.
Right, and maybe that's why we don't have enough folks running as well. There was another measure, and I'm sure we're reintroducing it. And I tried in the 35th as well to get it as a part-time legislature, too, so more people don't have to leave their employment and have three sessions, 4 sessions annually to budget and confirmation, and then you introduce your bills and you get paid a stipend, and then the Congress building, all the staff there are not working for any particular senator, but they're actually long-term staff employees there with bill writing experience that you can go to with an idea and say, hey, this is what I want to do. They research it for you and they put the bill together, like in Congress, right? And we use all that saved money from these from the budget that legislature currently has to provide a professional service at the Congress building with the clerk's office to do that. And on that last bill, we even introduced, if it got heard and passed on the floor, this election, you would have seen the opportunity to circle in yes or no to, would you want a part-time legislature? Mm-hmm. Of course, the parties, I'm a Republican, I'm willing to take that risk. My other colleagues maybe not. I mean, you're reducing power from your parties, but a part-time legislature I think is a way to go, and to include independent candidates too.
And that's not a new idea by any means, because what was it, former Senator, was it Randy Cunliffe was the first to propose this?
Probably, and then I was working with Senator Bob Klitsky. He proposed it as well.
Yeah, I stand corrected. It was Senator Klitsky. That's correct.
Okay. And it was really good, and it got to be 20 years, 30 years ago or something. Yeah. But we still attempt. And then you look across the United States, how many bodies like this are part-time? You look during the pandemic. Were we all full-time? Did we come into work right away? I remember standing in front of the legislature building there with a sign saying, what was the word? I'm not significant, but my job is required to get back to work. There was a sign that I was holding, mm-hmm. right?
Essential.
Let's reopen the Guam legislature. Let's look at measures that we need to do to provide the people the money, right? The services. Let's get to work, right? It took some time. I can understand we were all concerned with our health, but so are firemen and policemen. They got to get back to work too, and doctors and nurses as well. So legislatures need to get back to work as well to help the people of Guam by legislating things and providing the money that we need to appropriate the right way as quick as possible. So.
Well, speaking
from
of
that example, I think a part-time legislature is really can be really be done. So we'll see. It's just a matter of the people who are in there as a majority having that mindset as well.
Well, speaking of
this election coming up, it's going to be interesting. If we don't have enough 15 on each side, what are we going to do? We're going to be remembering those names that are we're familiar with, or we just circle one or two, or we just leave it blank. So we'll see. But we just have to continue it, right? And as generations change, and as different people are ready to step up and come into office, maybe that can happen. We just don't give up.
Well, I wanted to ask about, have you heard anything from Senator Joe S. San Augustine's office or even from the Guam Election Commission about this letter they wrote to him requesting a supplemental budget? They need $600,000 for early voting, I believe. It was passed, that law was passed after the budget, so they ended up with the shortfall, right? And so have you heard any movement, any traction on whether or not this was going to be addressed by the Guam legislature? Because Maria Pangilinan, the executive director, said, hey, look, I can't hold this election. I need this money.
Yeah, and again, Maria Pangilinan has a great way of communicating that to us. and with Senator Joe San Augustine, who is the committee chairman for that, and when I do introduce bills regarding the Guam Election Commission, most of the time, if not all of it, he's also a co-sponsor to that as well. Senator San Augustine, in addition to the Guam Election Commission committee chair, he's also head of the, he has the control of the Office of Finance and Budget, which is where the money needs to kind of be routed in that direction. I don't have any doubt with the senator's ability to do that. And it's timing. And I'm sure the senator has communicated his best as well to the Guam Election Commission that it will be done, and if it's necessary and it will get onto the floor, then obviously nobody's going to. I can't see anyone objecting to that. I think I was a major role in that and moving the election time period up as well to August. That was our bill. So even to making early voting a permanent thing where you don't have to say I'm going off island. That was again our bill. So we're looking at things to make to make things smoother, to make things more effective, and this has happened in the 35th Guam legislature, I believe, as well, where the Election Commission had to come to the legislature again for a supplemental budget. And as you can see with the CRERs and the governor's report, Adeleu's report, saying we're in the best situation ever with our collections, there's money there. So it's hopefully it doesn't become a game where, well, it was me that gave it to you. No, it was me that gave it to you. Well, just give it. No, at the end of the day, nobody's like, I don't care. Just make the Guam Election Commission whole, and so they can do their job, and hopefully we get the percentage of voters up, right? And this is going to be a gubernatorial election, so we hopefully we foresee higher numbers. And now that the football season's over, at least we got something interesting to watch between now and August.
We got a big game coming up.
We got the big game.
Yeah.
Right.
And speaking of the game, what are you running for, by the way? Because you picked up a packet for Guam delegate to the U.S. Congress.
Right.
So what's the deal?
Yeah, what's the deal?
What's the
Lay
deal?
it out. Tell us. Come on.
Yeah, everybody's watching a show right now. You haven't got half of our normal audience tuned into the Super Bowl or pregame show or halftime show.
All eyes on you.
Exactly.
Okay. How's my hair? Wait, no problem. So, well, a couple of things. In December, I did pick up my senatorial packet. So picking up a packet is one thing. Submitting your packet is the next step.
Sure.
In February, just after the Super Bowl there, my office picked up our congressional packet. Yes, yes, we are looking at this really, really seriously. And the reason for picking up the packet is I got to understand what's in that packet. It's going to be a lot different than what the senatorial packet is there too. So we're going to study it. We're going to make our announcement really soon. In the meantime, I'm working my darndest. I have a bill coming up here for public hearing this afternoon, and I have another bill on session floor. So my focus is still on the measures that we introduced. And as a senator, the objective of picking up the congressional package is to say I'm really, really interested in this. But I had to study what's involved in that packet. So when the decision is made, which will be, you heard it first, Bree and Jay, really soon.
You know, Senator,
like today soon, like tomorrow.
Senator,
soon?
I would love to take a look at like your iPhone screen and everything to see if maybe like, you know, in your clock it said like, okay, time in Hagåtña, time in Japan, time in Washington D.C. Maybe. Maybe you've set that time zone.
So are you going to pick up a packet for a governor? Are you interested in that?
No, I am not. Thank you for asking.
Okay, I want to make sure we're clear.
Yeah. So that one's a hard no.
So I've seen you in pictures, and a lot of pictures that have been floating around with different former governors.
Right.
So what are you hearing? Are the Republicans going to put up a gubernatorial candidate?
Yes,
I mean, I would hope so, but we haven't heard anything. Well, kind of heard some stuff, but
right. And I again, an announcement is forthcoming. And there
soon?
The candidate, there is a strong candidate that we have in place, but I don't want to take the thunder away from that. And okay. I will support, of course, the Republican Party and their what they stand for. But sometimes on Guam we're more like kind of more in the middle than on far right or progressive left, right? So
well, you better do it soon, Senator, because like the next big event that's coming up, pop culture, is the Oscars, and everybody's going to be paying attention to that. So if you want to get the word out, get it out soon. And please let us know first.
Are we looking at one candidate for the gubernatorial race on the Republican ticket?
There's one I know of. There could be another. And then that's up to the party if there's competition in the party. Hopefully that's worked out within the party, because if you're running against another candidate in the party that takes resources away, advertising resources, and sometimes you're pulling on the same people, and that's tough. When your cousin's on this side and your uncle's on the other side, which side do you go to, right? And at the end of the day, you go to the same fiesta table.
Yeah.
So.
I've never thought.
Hold on. Are we looking at this one candidate that you're referring to that you know of? Is it a former governor?
He has the person has the statue of a former governor. That's for sure. And most likely will be a great leader in the past and what the person has done, and in the future through the experience. And now as you kind of move up in age and step back sometimes and you relook at things and you come out of that circle and you're looking from the outside in, it's like you can make a big difference. Seeing things a little bit different from the inside looking out. Like a lot of my neighbors out here too, when you had those conversations and they start talking to you about maybe utilities, maybe roads, maybe hospitals. It's a different. It's to the point. When we're inside, we have to we talk about it. How do we negotiate and move things left to right to get it forward? Public sees it, just move it. And so that's the inspiration that I get. And whoever's going to run for the governor and win the elected seat, we have to continue to listen to that.
Yeah, Senator, this is the part of the program we like to call Sabrina plays like that game of political guess who. She's like, okay, does the candidate have black hair? Okay, no. Does the person have a mustache? No.
Right, no.
but this person does have a considerable pedigree. You're willing to say at least that, right? This person
does this person, is their father a former governor? Which I mean, we have a couple.
So you would at least admit to that, Senator. This candidate, remaining nameless at this point, does have a considerable political pedigree.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, tick, tick, tick.
I know.
There you go. There you go. But it's best that the candidate
Yeah.
do the announcement,
Sure.
Right.
right?
And we know they're not blonde.
Well, thanks a lot, Senator. I did want to ask before we let you go, because you did say that there was a public hearing on a bill that you had, that you authored for this afternoon. Is it 247?
Right.
The bill. Well, actually, you have a couple. There's a DRT bill, and then I see there's another bill that you're a co-sponsor on, funding the compensation of adjudicated claims. For is that today? Yeah. Bill 220.
Okay.
Or is this another bill?
We just got so many, and I'm just really thankful that I have public hearings for these bills, and you
just remember the ones that get vetoed by number, right?
well, yeah.
I was like, yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, like we have the ABLE. It's called the ABLE bill. It's for folks that are have disabilities, right, and are receiving funding. But when you try to help your neighbor or your family wants to help the person by providing financial resources, and the person receives it and gets it into their deposited into their bank, that counts against them as a source of income, and then they lose their benefits. This is a federal program in the U.S. where it creates its own bank account that are exempt from gaining the showing any money in there, right? Not that it's hiding it, but that it's not counted against the person especially with needs. So that was introduced by Senator Dennis Rodriguez, and it was signed into law by Governor Eddie Cavo in December of 2018. So we followed up with it with Department of Revenue and Taxation, who is the director of this program, and saying, so how's it going? It was never started, not necessarily a fault on the department or the other agencies, but it didn't work out. First, they required assistance with folks to open these bank accounts. They need banking laws and regulations. They needed money even to start it off. And DRT said, the legislatures, they give us these things, but they don't provide us appropriations. We can't move it forward. In addition to that, since this is a banking issue, Department of Revenue and Taxation regulates the bank. And then you want us to go back to the banks to do an RFP to open this up? It's a conflict. So they recommended like DOA or GITA, and we had a conversation with DOA, and it sounded like it was okay for them to handle it. And then we also put in place a $250,000 up to $250,000 so they can start this program off as well. You need some fundings to open up this bank. So that's what we'll be hearing, and I think it will be workable. The Senator Rodriguez, when he proposed this, it was an excellent idea, and we're finding more legislation like this that was proposed, but somehow that was it. Got passed into law, and that was it. And then so our office is digging into these things, looking at it, and saying what else is out there that were great ideas passed into law, but unfortunately didn't work because, like what DRT told us in this example, we can't do that. You have to use another agency, or that other agency is going to need resources to do that. So it's just a simple change and amendment into the law that can adjust it so we can help the people that it was meant to be for, get it going. So you can give money to your loved one, your friend, your family, and it wouldn't be subtracted from their benefits that they're receiving. At the same time, they can buy their necessities without worrying about the loss of the funding for them. So I'm thinking that should be a pretty strong one to get passed.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Senator.
You're welcome.
The public hearings, I think they start at 9 and for the rest of the day. Thank you so much for taking time to talk with us. And I guess we'll be hearing from you real soon.
most definitely. Most definitely.
All right.
You got the Zoom link. All you got to do is just hit connect with Jason, and we'll get you on.
That's going to be on my permanent save.
All right.
Under favorites. Okay.
Okay. All right. Take care.
All right. Have a wonderful day, Senator. Thanks for your time as always.
You as well.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe. Wow. So possibly big, and I would say probably big and expected news to some degree, coming very, very, very soon, as he said. I mean, very, very soon can be, there's a little bit of nuance there, but there
Well,
is
I always go back to this because it's just funny, and remember when we got there was an announcement from Adeloop that real soon, right? And then it was like a couple days.
yeah.
To me, real soon is like a couple hours, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Now, what I'm curious
Is it today?
in,
Is it tomorrow?
I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did Senator Moylan allude to this? If he said a gubernatorial candidate from the GOP may announce, right? Is that just going to be the gubernatorial candidate himself, or will they announce as a team? Because we've seen both cases, right? And I don't know, from the Republicans' point of view, not being the majority right now, would it be wiser to say, okay, here's our rock star candidate, running mate to be announced later, or just say, okay, here we are, we've got Batman and Robin, and we're ready to go, take on all comers.
I mean, we've all seen the pictures. Come on, we've seen the picture of.
So which picture are you referring to? Just so people
Governor
know.
Felix Camacho. We've seen
Yeah.
the pictures of him with Governor Eddie Calvo, former governors. So, and then former Governor Joseph Ada. So, I don't know. It's kind of funny because when you ask those questions, the ones that I was asking, it's kind of hard to differentiate because they both had fathers who were governors.
Right.
They've been governors before.
Also,
obviously.
Senator Frank Blas, and that's why I was saying, does this candidate to be have considerable political pedigree? Because of course, Senator Frank Blas, his lineage is in, his father, the former lieutenant governor, of course.
But see, he wasn't a former governor though.
No,
Right?
that's true.
Didn't he indicate that it might be a candidate that may be a former governor?
He
I'm not
kinda-
sure,
he
but
kinda-
yeah, those are the names I'm hearing. That it's
Now it would be
Felix or-
it would be interesting if it was Felix Camacho and Eddie Calvo, because who gets top billing?
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that, like he said, real soon.
And I mean, they could sell it, and they could just say, okay, we're two former heads of state, commanders in chief, chiefs executive, however you want to sell it, right? And then just say the reason why the both of us are doing this, and one is governor, the other is lieutenant governor, because we know we're interchangeable. Like if one's working on something, the other could do just as equally well a job. The whole concept of co-CEOs is kind of like popular in industry right now. So I mean, they could kind of spin it that way. Also interesting, that picture, that was the last three Republican governors.
Yeah. So
Nothing from the senators, like relatives, like his side, like nothing from Kaleo Moylan, perhaps, or.
I hadn't heard that name. But we'll let that simmer. Let's go to a break.